Karen had my unmarked FBI surveillance vehicle towed at 2 in the morning, claiming it was abandoned. But when she opened the locked door to photograph the interior, she committed federal tampering. And the felony charge that followed was not something her HOA authority could dismiss. My name is Tony, and I am a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation based in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have worked organized crime and public corruption cases for 16 years, conducting surveillance operations that require discretion, patience, and vehicles that blend into any environment. My job often involves extended stakeouts, undercover work, and equipment that cannot be compromised. What Karen did not know when she targeted my vehicle was that she had just tampered with federal law enforcement property during an active investigation, and that is a crime the Bureau takes extremely seriously. I live in Silver Springs, a subdivision built in 2016 on the northwest side of Las Vegas. The neighborhood is a mix of families, retirees, and working professionals. The HOA handles basic maintenance and manages community spaces. For 4 years, I lived there without incident, keeping a low profile as my job requires. Then Karen moved in 6 houses down from me. She had golden blonde hair and carried herself like she was personally responsible for maintaining order in the entire neighborhood. She got elected to the HOA board within 2 months and became president shortly after. Her focus was vehicles. She hated anything she considered unsightly, suspicious, or out of place. My work vehicle became her target. The FBI uses a variety of unmarked vehicles for surveillance work. Mine is a 2019 Toyota Camry. Silver, completely stock appearance. It looks like every other midsize sedan on the road, which is exactly the point. No government plates, no visible equipment, nothing that identifies it as a federal vehicle. To anyone looking at it, it is just another boring car. I park in my driveway when I am home, and sometimes I leave it parked on the street overnight when I am using my personal truck. The vehicle is registered, insured, and completely legal to park anywhere. Karen decided it looked abandoned. The first notice appeared on the windshield 3 weeks after she became president. Unidentified vehicle parked on street for extended period. Must be moved or will be towed per HOA parking regulations. I checked the HOA rules. There was a provision about inoperable or abandoned vehicles, but nothing about how long a vehicle could be parked on a public street. The street parking is county property, not HOA jurisdiction. I ignored the notice and moved the car into my driveway. A week later, I was working a surveillance operation that required me to be out for 3 consecutive nights. I left the Camry parked on the street because my personal truck was blocking the driveway, and I did not want to shuffle vehicles at 2 o'clock in the morning when I got home. On the 3rd night, I returned home at 1:45 a.m. after a long stakeout. The Camry was gone. I called the non-emergency police line immediately. The dispatcher checked and confirmed the vehicle had been towed by Desert Auto Recovery at the request of the Riverbend HOA for being an abandoned vehicle. I was furious but controlled. I called the towing company and explained I needed to retrieve the vehicle immediately. They gave me the impound lot address and told me it would be $350 to release it. I drove to the impound lot and paid the fee. When they brought the Camry around, I did my standard security check before driving away. That is when I noticed something wrong. The driver's side door lock had scratches around it consistent with someone using a Slim Jim or lockpick tool. The door had been opened. I checked the interior carefully. The glove box was open. Papers in the center console had been moved. Someone had been inside the vehicle. I drove home, parked in my garage, and immediately called my supervisor, special agent in charge of Becca. Someone broke into the surveillance unit. I said it was towed by the HOA, and when I picked it up, there was evidence the door had been forced open and the interior searched. Was any equipment compromised? She asked immediately. No, I never leave operational equipment in the vehicle overnight. But someone accessed a federal law enforcement vehicle without authorization. That is felony tampering. File a report with Metro, and I will have our evidence response team process the vehicle. I contacted the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and filed a report for vehicle tampering. Then I reviewed my home security camera footage. The cameras cover my driveway and part of the street. The footage showed the towing truck arriving at 2:15 a.m. But before the tow truck hooked up the Camry, another vehicle pulled up, a white Lexus SUV that I recognized as Karen's. Karen got out, walked around the Camry with her phone taking pictures, then tried the door handles. When the doors did not open, she pulled something from her purse that looked like a Slim Jim tool, worked on the driver's door for about 2 minutes, and got it open. She spent 5 minutes inside the vehicle with a flashlight, clearly searching through the interior, opening compartments and photographing the contents. Then she closed the door and signaled for the tow truck to proceed. It was all on video. Clear footage showing Karen forcibly entering my vehicle and conducting a search. I saved the footage and sent it to Rebecca and to the Metro Police detective handling the case. Detective Harrison. Detective Harrison came by the next morning. Mr. Delgado, this video shows clear evidence of vehicle burglary and tampering. The fact that it is a federal vehicle elevates the charges significantly. What are we looking at charge-wise? I asked. State charges for vehicle burglary and criminal tampering. But since this is an FBI vehicle, there are likely federal charges as well for interfering with federal law enforcement operations. The vehicle was not operational at the time, but it is still federal property used for official duties. Understood. I will coordinate with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Rebecca assigned an FBI evidence response team to process the Camry. They documented the forced entry, collected fingerprints from the door and interior, and confirmed that Karen's actions constituted unauthorized access to federal property. The U.S. Attorney's Office reviewed the case and decided to file federal charges. Karen was charged with tampering with a vehicle used in federal law enforcement operations, a felony under federal law, carrying up to 10 years in prison. She was also charged at the state level with vehicle burglary and criminal mischief. Karen was arrested 3 days later. Federal agents and Metro Police executed the arrest at her home at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was not involved in the arrest, but several neighbors witnessed it and the story spread quickly. The neighborhood Facebook page exploded with speculation. Karen's attorney tried to argue she was conducting legitimate HOA business by checking an abandoned vehicle before towing, but the video evidence was damning. The footage showed her using a tool to force the door open, which is not legitimate HOA activity under any circumstances. It showed her searching through the interior, which had nothing to do with verifying abandonment. And most importantly, she had done all of this to a vehicle that was legally parked on a public street. Her attorney tried to negotiate a plea deal, but the U.S. Attorney's Office was not flexible. Tampering with federal law enforcement property is taken seriously because it can compromise investigations and endanger agents. The case went to trial in federal court 4 months later. I testified about the vehicle's use for FBI operations, the discovery of the forced entry, and the security footage. The evidence response team testified about the forced entry and unauthorized access. Detective Harrison testified about the state investigation. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on the federal tampering charge. Guilty on both state charges. The judge sentenced Karen to 18 months in federal prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release. She was also ordered to pay restitution of $4,000 for the cost of processing the vehicle, changing locks, and my time dealing with the incident. The HOA board removed her as president immediately after conviction. They issued a formal apology to me and clarified that vehicle towing would only occur for legitimate safety hazards, not aesthetic complaints. A retired Air Force officer named Michael was elected as the new president. He contacted me personally to apologize and to ensure I understood the new board had no interest in harassing residents over legally parked vehicles. Karen served 14 months of her sentence at a federal correctional facility in California. She was released on supervised release and moved out of state. Her house in Silver Springs was sold while she was incarcerated. The Camry was returned to service after the evidence response team cleared it. I still use it for surveillance operations, though it now has upgraded locks and additional security features. The case became a training example at the FBI Academy for why agents need to secure vehicles properly and document any potential tampering immediately. It is also used as an example of what constitutes federal vehicle tampering and why such charges are pursued vigorously. Several neighbors approached me after the trial to express support and to apologize for not speaking up earlier, when Karen was targeting various residents. One neighbor told me she was relieved someone finally held Karen accountable for overstepping her authority. I still live in Silver Springs. The neighborhood is peaceful now, and the new HOA board focuses on actual community needs rather than micromanaging residents. My vehicles, both the work Camry and my personal truck park, wherever I need them without issue. I occasionally see the security footage when reviewing old files, and it still amazes me that Karen thought forcing open a locked vehicle and searching through was appropriate HOA enforcement. She saw a car she did not recognize and decided her authority extended to breaking into it. She did not realize that some vehicles belong to federal law enforcement, and that tamper with them carries consequences that cannot be dismissed with an apology or fine. If you have ever had an HOA president or board member damage your property while claiming authority, or if someone has broken into your vehicle claiming they had the right to do so, share your story in the comments. Send this to anyone who needs a reminder that HOA authority has limits and that breaking laws in the name of enforcement has real consequences. And subscribe for more stories about people who confuse a neighborhood title with immunity from prosecution. Sometimes the vehicle you decide to break into belongs to exactly the wrong.